goes late.
I'm happy you mentioned the Lee Sin, one of NXI's specials, one of his favorite champions to play. And that's a player that we hyped up a lot going into Academy based on his amateur performances. And so far has not shown an incredible level of dominance, really stepping into his own, playing more back pedal so far in this season. But let's get caught up on the ban so far. Jungle focus from each side, Nidalee, Olaf, Azir. Nothing too surprising except for that Azir pick. I'm still not necessarily sold on that being one of the best mid laners right now, but hey, these pro players keep picking him up time and time again.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting to see overall just because it has gotten some small buffs, but it's not necessarily something that I think should be at its level of priority as it currently has been. The Pantheon also getting banned away from Golden Guardians, and I hate seeing this as a blue side ban because it says to me that you can't pick this champion, and the champion is so strong that you want to be able to grab it really whenever you can. And when you're banning on the blue side, it means that there's something else that you really want and can't afford to not ban it for yourself, or you don't play it. And I feel like either of those situations are a little bit less than optimal.
I was going to say, Rosethorn is a player that I've never known to have the biggest of champ pools. He is one of the newest players in Academy in any kind of professional setting coming in from solo queue through scouting grounds. So I don't hate it too much when you just consider the context of the player, and it's still being week 2 of the season. Hasn't had a lot of time to really ramp up, but Taliyah is another top priority jungler and is locked in.
Yeah, but you're also giving over Tomo's star performing champion so far in the Zephilos, and also giving it with the Thresh. We saw how effective this can be when you have the Gravitum early on, because you can't dodge things when you're rooted, turns out. But Golden Guardians looking to fire back up on the top lane. Taliyah, Renekton, Twisted Fate. This is a very powerful early mid-game composition so far from Golden Guardians, and we'll see if FlyQuest can draft anything, like we said, to not die to it.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about the Taliyah TF is how many side lane plays you can make. You can use the Taliyah Weaver's Wall plus the Destiny from Twisted Fate to catch players out in the side lane, but there's not a lot of dive potential. There's not a lot of ability to actually get on top of Aphelios with these 3 picks. Renekton's really the closest one. Maybe you can get close enough for a gold card, but Udyr locked in for FlyQuest Academy. We've seen a lot of Udyr showing up here as a jungle pick. It's just so annoying to deal with for so many compositions, but there is at least a lot of CC on Golden Guardian's side to help kind of slow him down.
Yeah, this Udyr feels a little bit early to me. It is really good into things like the Taliyah, just because you're able to survive the burst, and Taliyah's not going to be doing that much damage to Udyr afterwards, especially since you tend to go tank on this champion. But as you said, there is a lot of crowd control. He is fairly kiteable, and with an 80 carry still yet to be picked up, I feel like FlyQuest can pick something that is going to interact really well against Udyr. So we'll see how effective it can be. It's not that much early power, but it can have some explosive starts.
I'm waiting to see what the mid lane matchup is going to be like in particular, because FlyQuest Academy do get their option of, do they want to pick a mid lane into the TF, or do they want to pick their top lane into the Renekton first off? And Golden Guardians having both of those blind picked, I'm not super sold on this. I was crediting Cubes yesterday and how they drafted on red side, and now they're going for the basically the same style, but on the blue side, it's so much harder to actually pull that off, because they will need ways to get onto Aphelios. They will need ways to deal with his Udyr running at them, and FlyQuest does get double counterpick for solo lanes. So what are they going to lock in here? They ban out a couple more 80 carries, because, yeah, the Samira and the Kai'Sa are both options that are pretty high in the meta for Golden Guardians. So that pool is very pinched right now, as we see it will be Victor into TF.
Yeah, Victor does pretty well into Twisted Fate, but I do think it needs to take Cleanse, because if it was just Twisted Fate, it's whatever. But if you also have the Taliyah, they can burst you incredibly quickly. There's not a lot of counterplay. And I'm kind of wondering if this might be the first Gnar Renekton lane that we actually get today, simply because that tends to be kind of the classic counterpick. And I've been saying for a long time, okay, we'll get back to that Ezreal in a moment, but Renekton does not have enough gank setup against Gnar due to how quickly he can run away. If you do get it, you're going to blow him up. But if you aren't able to get it, you're going to take a lot of damage in response. And this Ezreal Karma also feels bolted on to the composition to me.
Yeah, I say it every week. When you watch Cube's draft, you never know what you're going to get. It's always a surprise. And really doubling down on that this time around. Yeah, they got some poke, I suppose, with the Karma and Ezreal in the lane to help maybe bully out the Aphelios early on. I actually do like this Gragas pickup as well here from FlyQuest. So if anybody manages to get on top of Aphelios, suddenly they're gone. I'm not quite sure what Golden Guardian's identity is when you look at all 5 champs.
It is a mid-game pick composition here for Golden Guardians Kangas. You got Talia, you got Twisted Fate, you got Renekton. You find people in the jungle by denying them vision, you hit them with point-and-click crowd control, and suddenly you blow them up with the seismic shove. And if they can continuously do that, it's going to look really, really good. Unfortunately, if they can't do that, they don't have a whole lot to fall back on. They have okay poke and siege, they have okay team fighting, but not when you compare it to the Gragas Victor.
I think it's really going to come down to how well Tally can play in this top side. And I would say Tally is one of the prime carries on Golden Guardians. Prismal is the big name that I usually look for, but playing the Ezreal with the Karma, that's more of a weak side bot lane that we don't expect to get a lot of attention. But Tally now has so much, room to play around with a TF mid, a Talia that can just hard focus the top half of the map. If Renekton can get ahead, great news. But the problem is, it is that Gragas, a lot of disengage, and will probably be building tanky and absorbing a lot of that pressure. So yeah, overall, I think FlyQuest have a lot of buffer to play with here. They don't need to be too focused on the early game or too focused on these crazy plays in the first couple minutes. They can just play the scaling game. They got the Victor and Aphelios and play for those late game team fights. But we're loaded onto the Rift here, Joshi, ready to see what these teams decide to do early on. And I know that you're the big brain color caster, so what do you think of my assessment? Am I correct or am I way off the bar?
I think you're pretty on the ball there, Kangas, right? You have Kumo on this Gragas, who is traditionally very, very good against the Renekton, just because you have a lot of sustain built into your kit. You have the damage reduction on that W, and later on you can just use this to stat check the Renekton if you aren't super far behind. So it is fairly limited for Golden Guardians, but the big wake up for them is going to be around that level 6 when you have the double globals coming out from Dunby and Rosethorn, and that's really where I think the game is going to make or break. So we gotta just assume that they're going to be okay for the first couple of minutes, and then when we start hitting up, minute 5 through 10, that's really when the game is going to be decided.
Those first couple plays will be crucial from Golden Guardians. If they don't pull them off, they're going to be in a really tough position going forward in this game, because, again, highlighting just the scaling of FlyQuest and them not being on any timer. They don't have to force anything. They could even just give up some of those early dragons. Yeah.
Do you remember previously when we were talking about Surefire's, first couple of ultimates as Nocturne? Twisted Fate has a very similar thing, right? Like, his first, second ultimates, if he doesn't get something off of them, he ends up just being okay later on in the game where he's just stun bot. And sometimes that's enough, but you don't have enough damage on this team with stun bot Twisted Fate. You actually have to do damage.
I think, the stun bot will work in the early game, specifically against things like the Victor in that mid lane, but it just ain't going to work later on. And, I mean, we talked about Topo getting Aphelios multiple times now. This is his third time. All the FlyQuest wins are on this, and piloting this champion yet again with Dreams on the Thresh yet again. I question the preparedness of Golden Guardians going into this, because the Ezreal, we haven't touched on it yet, but it's just not super high on many AD carries priority right now when you're looking at things like Jhin, even Misfortune being potentials that can really blow up that Aphelios.
Yeah, it's just kind of there. And I want to point out, I want to take this moment to talk about a change from what we often see with these kind of mirror jungle starts, right? Both NXI and Rosethorn started at red. They both went down to take the respective Scuttle Crabs on the opposite side of the map. And oftentimes you see both of them coalesce in the mid lane, but instead Rosethorn runs up top lane and Kumo is going to be here for counter gank.
This is exactly what Golden Guardians needs to do in the early game. Get that kill. First blood over to Tally. Renekton being donated that. Even gets the wave frozen on his side. This is fantastic for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, that was really big. Tally was pretty darn low at the beginning of that, but you saw Kumo went in, and, as somebody who's been putting more games onto Gragas myself, the body slam feels a lot shorter when you don't have the flash part of it. He's not able to really have the same kind of impact on this, and this is the one thing that Renekton Talia does. Go top lane, you press W again, and suddenly there's no enemy top laner left. So if they can continue doing that and putting Kumo behind, it'll give Tally a lot more freedom in this game and give them some opportunity to actually threaten Tomo later in the game.
And to me, that was a pretty scripted play right there from Golden Guardians, too. Rose Thorn, we highlighted this before, like, Golden Guardians want to get this top lane ahead. They want to play around this top mid lane with Rose Thorn roaming between them. And Kumo just a little too far forward, using that body slam aggressively. So first blood on Renekton means that this lane now tilted into his favor. Wave is in a fantastic position. Rose Thorn can just go back to farming and maybe pay another visit up top side. The big thing is at least Kumo still has flash. So if there's a repeat gank, we'll most likely be able to get away from that because Dragon could also be the next focus for these teams. If Rose Thorn is only on the top half, FlyQuest could start an early Dragon stack.
Yeah, they could. The big thing is there's not a lot of crowd control in the bottom part of the map, right? Neither Prismal's Ezreal nor Karma's play from Chime. Neither of them really have a whole lot of easy crowd control to set up for Rose Thorn. But if you find a pick here, NXI is potentially in a good spot for a counter gank once again. This time it's just Chime chilling out, and instead, Rose Thorn is going to be chilling out on the top side to potentially look for a dive right as Tally hits level 6.
Dreams roaming towards that mid side of the map, looking for maybe if you could find something on the Yunbi, but also just backing up this Dragon take. Should be free to the side of FlyQuest as Tally proxying the wave right now. Kumo in a pretty rough position. We'll walk up and try and get some of this XP and gold, but yeah, this is what we expect to see on the top half of the map here. Going
this is
forward
so
in this
dangerous.
early game.
Yeah, Talia's still here. Twisted Fate's going up. This might be the first
Oh,
successful
no.
Twisted Fate ult.
Okay, Destiny's used. Yep, they're going for the dive. Already the
Nice.
cask is out. Kumo has no more defensive tools, but he's just trying to buy time with Tally under turret. It's just not enough, though. That's going to be another kill picked up by Golden Guardians, this time onto Rose Thorn.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, this is what we're saying. You got to find a lot of plays here. You want to find advantages for Tally, and so far, Golden Guardians are playing exactly to their win conditions, which is a really good showing from them that they actually have like a dedicated plan going into this game. And I'm a little bit surprised that Kumo chose to greed for that wave. They knew that he couldn't be there previously, and he decided like, yeah, I'm just gonna go back anyway. We know Talia was here. We know Udyr is backing at the moment, and instead he's just like, well, gonna hang out, try and survive this dive that I know is coming, and unfortunately, you're not that tanky yet.
He at least gets the wave, you know, with the double cast combo, he gets all that XP, but
Yes,
without
the wave.
Totally worth, right? Just looking for any semblance of hope here for the top half of the map for FlyQuest. I don't think that they're in a desperate situation yet because they still have the backup option of scaling elsewhere, but Golden Guardians playing the early game very well, like you highlighted. Tally getting ahead is necessary for them to pull off this composition.
Oh no, he's frozen. Genghis, he's frozen. He can't do anything. He can't walk into his lane anymore. He doesn't have bodies, or he doesn't have the explosive cask, so his ganks aren't particularly effective at the moment. And now Kumo's just sad. Like, you
He's
gotta
like, maybe
do
I can go
something.
help out mid. Maybe I walk down here. Hey, Triple, you need
maybe-
any help, buddy?
Do you think you need all of those minions? maybe it is for Kumo. Maybe.
Maybe for me.
Please.
And, he got that ward down. You know, he's helping out. He's participating. He can now track where Rose Thorn isn't.
Yeah, and that's part of why we're seeing FlyQuest backing away. They're getting shoved in so they have an opportunity to come back, but that is really rough. It does get better. It does get better, I promise. Kumo, if you just wait like 15 minutes when you have items, you will eventually be able to bully the crocodile. But that is not right now. And luckily enough, Tally is going to be returning the wave right back onto the side of FlyQuest's side of the map. So Kumo isn't going to be getting as starved as he otherwise would be. So I'm a bit surprised that that's the choice Golden Guardians are going for. They kind of have to use this time to pick up the Rift Herald or some other objective in order to make breaking that freeze worth it.
We do see that roam from Tally. They also have a really deep control ward, which I like on that top half of the map. So I think the idea is get that Rift Herald. But bot side, meanwhile, FlyQuest going for the play here onto Prismal. Arcane Shift away, has the flash available. Mistimes the cleanse, has to flash out. Both summoner spells are down. Trying to turn it back around here onto Dreams, but it's not meant to be. FlyQuest successfully gets summoner spells out of Golden Guardians bot lane.
Yeah, and they're going to be picking up this Rift Herald as well. So far, Golden Guardians are at least using the priority that Renekton built up in order to get something for themselves. But the Rift Herald is a means to an end. It is not an end in and of itself. And while they pick that up, it's worth about 2 plates. FlyQuest pick up 2 plates on the bottom side of the map anyway. So ends up being kind of a bit of a wash, and despite the fact that they had a couple of good early plays, I'm not sure if this early lead is going to be enough. We need to see Yunbi and Rosethorn continue to be proactive on the map, and he's kind of stuck in his lane.
Yunbi has not been able to get out yet. I mean, he had that one ultimate top set, so we'll credit him there, but he hasn't found that second one. And while we were saying, you know, the first play is so important, right? You know, if you mess that one up, all of your momentum's gone out the window. Well, hey, after you succeed the first play, you got to keep them coming. You got to do a second play and a third play. And we have not yet seen that out of Yunbi right now. So where does the CF decide to go, as he is donated this blue buff, will get this mana back, and can look to make plays? Because with that Rift Herald, it does give Golden Guardians options.
Yeah. All right. And this is good. Golden Guardians are once again returning the top lane to a frozen situation where Tally will be able to hold this here and Kumo will be denied farm. And not only that, he will be in a... Tally, I'm praising you for doing the freeze thing and setting up. All right, so this is the other option, right? Now you dive. Instead of holding him there in the middle lane, you just go kill him. And they have the Rift Herald. So, you know, I get it, but, like, can you do the thing I'm talking about? It makes me look really smart.
It really would. You would look great if they had done that, Yoshi. But you know what? I still think you look great. You at least sound great, so that's the important part. But I think another important thing there is that Triple has just been hard shoving this mid wave, so Yunbi could not afford to use Destiny to get up to that top half. He's missing out too much CS, too much experience in that mid side. But FlyQuest, they're not too focused about the top or the mid. They're focused on this bottom half. Look at how much pressure Tomo and Dreams have. Now they're going in onto Chime. Chime might just be dead here. Tomo doesn't quite have the damage yet, and Prismal's actually returning a really good amount of pressure. Weaver's Wall coming in, doesn't complete it, but might not have to. Oh no, Rosethorn, you didn't want to go in the Dragon Pit. NXI's right there. Oh, Dragon secured, flashes away. Disaster in the Dragon Pit, but at least Chime gets another kill answered. Tomo and Dreams will go down. Golden Guardians win the 2v2. Just a little awkward from their Taliyah jungle.
Yeah. Overall, very, very messy series of events down here in the bottom side, and ultimately, I think it's definitely going in favor of Golden Guardians, right? You get a couple of kills onto the bottom lane. Unfortunately, they go over to Chime and not the Ezreal, but you show that Tomo is mortal. He has the Gale Force now, but he doesn't have a flash for several minutes, and that is just a big invitation for Rosethorn and Yunbi to start looking down here. So not only do they find a small advantage, but they set themselves up to find an even bigger one. And even here, it doesn't look like Tomo and Dreams are on the same page. Like, are we fighting? Are we backing away? Dreams wanted to leave, and then Tomo was like, all right, no, we're still fighting. Oh, wait, you want to leave now? No, okay, we're still fighting. And Chime, just a huge advantage picked up after seeing the indecision from the other team, ends up finding himself a double kill.
And also, a little play there, but NXI walked in the path of the Weaver's Wall and knocked off Rosethorn, so that was pretty good position from him.
Oh, cool.
I just don't think Rosethorn expected Udyr to be in that Dragon Pit, and was really caught off guard. Was also knocked to the other side of the wall, so couldn't just flash over the Dragon Pit wall and try and get out of there. Just really unfortunate for him coming in.
I didn't even notice that.
I'm the backup. I got you guys. And goes right into NXI's waiting arms. So Dragon control still belongs to FlyQuest. They find themselves with 2 picked up here, getting towards that Dragon Soul potential win condition here. As actually it is Ocean Drake, which I think plays very well into their team composition.
Yeah, I think once again the team who is picking up Dragons is in the GGA. I think they will actually be going to pick up. And now they have a real win condition of just trying to chain those. The big question, though, is are they going to be strong enough to actually pick them up? They will be if they find these.
Yep, just a pick is all they need. Rosethorn goes down. I guess the idea was you were trying to dive bottom half of the map, but you had no vision on NXI. You had that control ward topside, so you knew he wasn't there. Golden Guardians, a little over-eager with that play.
Yeah, it's the opposite. Oh, but they might do the same thing top.
Destiny top, flash over the wall. Kumo might get out of this, but no, Tally answers it. Gold card's available. Oh, but the barrel to slow down Yunbi. Kumo playing that pretty clean. Meanwhile, bot side, I guess there's a double kill to Tomo. All right, FlyQuest winning out on the bottom half. I am excited to see what exactly transpired there, but they will get a turret.
Yeah, I really like to see that Golden Guardians are willing to continue pushing on the gas, even though they just gave up a kill by Rosethorn. They tried to go to the top lane, which is good. You still want to be making these plays. You are still the team that is trying to make these plays. But unfortunately, it ends up getting punished because map. Does he get stopped here? Yeah, the shield. So, FlyQuest now taking the situation from being pretty dire to suddenly very, very playable because Golden Guardians currently are not looking to have enough threat onto Tomo yet again.
And Tomo is now 3-1-0. We've seen his performances on this champ. It all starts with the pick here onto Rosethorn, and I guess the bot lane's pushed in. Maybe FlyQuest just commit to it. Yeah, what are Golden Guardians bot lanes doing? Whoa,
why do that to him? We didn't know about that.
Observers, that's just rude. He thought he was Zoe. He thought he could pick it up. Oh, they don't even have jungle in mid to help. They just go for the 2v2.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty big. There's a difference between having a mythic item in the Gale Forest to Ezreal not having one. He started with the tier, so he's trying to get the double spike from the Trinity Force and the time, but unfortunately, he's not there yet. He's not at the spot where the Ezreal is going to be super, super strong. But he might. We have another 50 seconds before the Dragon starts, and there are, fortunately, more members for FlyQuest here than just Yunbi. So they're probably going to pick this up as well and chain it immediately into another objective.
Yeah, this would be a great Rift Herald into Dragon. You can use Rift Herald to take turrets, or you can just use it to create pressure. So on this next wave that comes in, if they just shove it in, drop the Herald mid, they can easily take that Dragon. We'll see if FlyQuest are on the same page as us here. There is a turret picked up by Tally. This Renekton is still putting in work in these side lanes. And there we go, Rift Herald dropped mid. Golden Guardians, what's their response?
We'll see. We still have Twisted Fate up on the top lane, but he has the ultimate. He can join very, very quickly. Teleport committed from Kumo right away. I like this proactivity, making sure he's there, not going to be late for the fight. And they should be able to crash this and pick up the turret in the mid lane and immediately head over towards the Dragon. So far, FlyQuest playing this macro game rather clearly. Guardians, they kind of recognize they don't have the tools to get onto Tomo. They don't have enough damage to burst out the Victor. Instead, they're going to have to seed it, but that is scary. They're saying that they think in 5 minutes, you know, they're going to have a better fight than what they would have had right here against a team that's scaling. So, scared, Kingus.
They needed that Moonstone Renewer, obviously, on Chime. You know, that would have made all the difference. That would have been it. But
it helps.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. Because again, the issue is I don't think there's ever a time that you can team fight them at this point. Like that team fight would have been awful. There's a Victor, Aphelios with a completed Gale Forest, 2 tanks plus the Thresh to help heal. Like you're never getting on that Aphelios or Victor. They have to play this side lane, but I don't know if Tally's far enough ahead. Like he can't even just body Kumo around anymore. Kumo is at that point where he's tanky enough to absorb the pressure.
Yeah. I mean, they do get some good damage down onto Tomo. They don't have any grievous wounds just quite yet, but something that is kind of sad, but kind of necessary is Yumbi is already transitioning to the stun bet. They find the hook.
Hook lands the triple flay. What an engage from FlyQuest. Chime's already out of the play. Prismal and Rosethorn have to disengage. NXI doing what he can, frontlining against Tally right now. Tally actually bought a lot of space and a lot of time. Now Dreams could be in some trouble. He does go down to the poke from Prismal, but look at the damage from triple. Prismal just walks forward and dies. Yunbi will follow. FlyQuest win the fight decisively.
Yeah. If this was any later, this would have been an opportunity for them to go do the Baron, but instead they're just going to have to reward themselves to say, hey, they're actually still down in gold, but they should be able to pick up another structure or at least the entire bottom side. So it's very difficult for Golden Guardians to continue pushing their advantage. And honestly, coming out from Dreams, this is so good. This triple flay is insane.
What a way to start the fight. Tomo following it up, and it almost looked good as soon as Tally shows up. Look at how much time he buys here on the front line.
Yeah. And I thought this Weaver's Wall was kind of funny, right? They're just kind of chilling there, and the rest of Golden Guardians are so low, they're like, I don't know if we can fight this, but you committed a button, so I guess we're trying. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough because Kumo shows up. The 4-man unit for FlyQuest gets a 5th, and suddenly, FlyQuest still down in gold, but I would say in a dominant position for this game.
I really like how unwilling NXI and Tomo were to tank that Mystic Shot for Dreams. He's probably pinging them like, come on, really? You couldn't just body block one Mystic Shot for me? It's all right. Dreams does all the work. It's none of the reward. More work being put in here as they catch out Yunbi. Has to flash away. Triple running forward. I'm surprised Dreams didn't actually go for a flay play there. Maybe they were worried that the enemy junglers or teammates were around, but either way, that is flash down on the gold card player.
Yeah, and that's big. He doesn't do a whole lot of damage, right? He's got the Zeal. He's building towards the rapid fire cannon, so it's mostly just trying to find a little bit of gold. But I think the other big thing right now, King, is that we're looking at is the fact that Kumo is close to the point where he is going to start winning the side lane up against the Renekton. He has the Bramble Vest, so he can cut the healing. He's fairly tanky, and at this point, his base stat reduction likely going to chase down the Renekton in these longer fights in this really long lane. The question is, does Kumo realize that, and are they going to give him any whatsoever? Is he just going to have to suddenly decide, oh yeah, I think I'm strong enough. Oh, here we go.
Oh, and is he even going to be the target here as Golden Guardians instead try and make the play to triple, but Dreams is there, NXI is there, and FlyQuest turn the play around easily. Golden Guardians, they thought they had a side laner that they could pick, but FlyQuest were ready.
Yeah, I like that they're still going for it, but I think it's too late, right? Like, they needed to make these plays 5-10 minutes earlier when they stood more damage relative to the rest of the state of the game. Now they're just going to be giving over a ton of vision control as Ocean Soul is actually going to be spawning. So FlyQuest in a really, really good spot. They still have nobody that is going to be threatening this Aphelios and Victor, and it doesn't get better.
Prismo still doesn't have a mythic item, Joshi. And they're going to be fighting over Ocean Soul. Tomo, meanwhile, has Gale Force plus Runehands, a big power spike here for the Aphelios. Should, if he has the right guns, output insane amounts of damage during these team fights, and Golden Guardians already don't have the tools to deal with an Aphelios to begin with. I feel like we're at the closing points of this game, and we're only 21 minutes in. We got some speed runs happening today, Joshi. It'll be a miracle if Golden Guardians can find it, but maybe this is it. Poking down Tomo to start it off. And they have Tally waiting in the wings, but oh no, Rosestorm could be in some trouble here. He's pinched, he doesn't have flash, and he's just blown up. Chime will be the next to fall. FlyQuest find 2. They don't even need this dragon. I think that they could just chase down Golden Guardians and get a clean ace here. Dreams looking for it. Once the flash will not actually find it. Graviton. It's not quite what they needed. Yunbi does go golden to stay alive, but meanwhile, NXI says, all right, teammates, have fun, go chase him down, pad the stats. I'll be the one to actually win the game, getting this Ocean Dragon, Ocean Soul, and FlyQuest win the fight and to get the objective.
Yeah, I think they could have gotten even more than this Ocean Soul, but hey, still pretty darn good at this point. They're going to be able to grab this, and already there is difficulty getting onto this backline. Now, they're going to be able to heal through all the damage. It really comes down to the fact that they don't position as a full team. Tally's still off on the side, and he still hasn't entered the fight. He might as well not be here at this point. The rest of Golden Guardians just has to leave because they don't have the tools necessary to go for a fight once this Talia is gone, because they don't have any more magic damage to fall back upon, because the rapid fire cannon that Twisted Fate is sitting on means that he doesn't do any damage.
The only chance Golden Guardians had there was to catch out somebody who was trying to push that mid wave. I think that's why Tally was positioned on the top half there, because you're right, he did nothing that fight. But then Rosethorn, without flash, standing where he should not be standing when FlyQuest owned that bottom half. Now they have a Death Brush. Golden Guardian, this is a desperation play. They have nothing else that they can go for right now other than, hey, maybe we just catch somebody out in rotation. Wait a minute. Oh no, FlyQuest are sharks in the water. They don't know Golden Guardians are on the other side.
Okay.
Playing bait. He jumps forward. Arcane shifting over the wall, gets towards his team. Dreams is the one that they engage on. Not necessarily the target they want. Now it's going to be a 5v5 on opposite sides. Look at triple. Look at the flank. The Victor's going to do so much damage right here. Almost pops Golden Guardians instantly. They have to retreat. They're repositioning. NXI trying to play buffer, trying to play re-engage if he can, but Tally buying a decent amount of space here. Golden Guardians somehow start the fight at red buff. Reposition. Rosethorn's just dead again. Triple fighting him time and time again, and says every time, look man, I know that you played in Scouting Grounds, but welcome to Academy. The Oceanic mid laner showing up here. Baron now going over to FlyQuest. Can Golden Guardians respond?
Nah. They have to try, but it's so hard. The members of FlyQuest aren't even low after that whole thing. It might get Dreams.
And Kumo might be in trouble. Yunbi throws out that gold card. They're doing a lot of damage to Dreams, but it's just the Thresh. And look at all the space Kumo's buying. Baron does go over to FlyQuest. Now the rest of the DPS, the actual threats, have joined in. Yunbi, meanwhile, trying to buy some space. Maybe catch somebody out with that gold card, but FlyQuest are not taking the bait. Tomo, ooh, very far forward. That's a scary crocodile standing in front of you there, buddy, but the rest of the team is there. There's the death sentence. Tally's still just running forward. Triple goes unstoppable. Tally trying to 1v5 the enemy team, and he's staying alive for quite a while. Is he gonna take down Tomo? No! Doesn't quite find it. The Tally win condition not working out for Golden Guardians, and unfortunately they will get aced. A 5-0 for FlyQuest. They have the Baron Joshi. This game's all but over.
Yeah, I think Tally is done with this game. There was very little hope of that play ever working. Now FlyQuest just can do pretty much whatever they want. They want to bring this wave, but they won the fight in a spot where they didn't have any waves pushing. They weren't able to get anything further off of that, but at this point, it is such a desperate position for Golden Guardians. And honestly, I was surprised at how close Tally was to actually finding Tomo, but Ocean Soul paying off so much. Triple on the other side, picking up a bunch of members that weren't really paying attention to him, and completely uncontested in this entire thing. So he's just able to find a quadra kill in what are effectively 4 separate 1v1s back to back to back.
Thorn again? Are you kidding? Josh, what do we do about this guy? Is Oceania really the future of NA? Is this where we're at right now?
Right now, it's kind of looking like it. 88803 NXI. I don't even know how much that he was really under there, but the big thing is he's going to be able to get out. They are so fed. Now the question is, how do they end the game? They don't actually want to fight for this dragon, right? Because that is an opportunity for Golden Guardians to pull a rabbit out of the hat, suddenly find a miracle team fight. But if they just continue to push in all the waves, they deny Golden Guardians one of the win conditions that is still left in the game. So we'll see how cleanly FlyQuest plays it out now that they are massively far ahead, even though it's only a 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah, they can do anything they want. Like, there's nothing that Golden Guardians can do to stop that kind of play other than just don't be there and give up the turret. FlyQuest just dive under, take out Yunbi. Tally's at least getting some pressure top half, might trade out turrets, but FlyQuest, they might just look for the end play here. It's a 5v4 if they can find the right engage, but Kumo playing it patiently, not getting over eager as it's just inhibitor down. FlyQuest are pressuring to end the game. Tally has to back.
Yeah, they don't care about the pressure Renekton's putting on, and now Tomo, he's so far forward, he's going to blow him up.
Tally just can't do anything. Tomo said last time we met, you were a threat. This time, I got the lifesteal, buddy. You are nothing but a little crocodile, nothing but a little lizard in front of my guns right now. Tomo doing so much damage to everybody on Golden Guardians. FlyQuest, that's just disgusting. Tribe can't even play the game League of Legends right now. They're trying to find that last play. I don't even think they need to win the fight. They don't even need to find the engage. They can just turn onto these turrets, but FlyQuest won it. They're going to go for it. Tally taking a lot of damage. Rosethorn as well. Will this be the 7th death? Maybe not. In the fountain, still healing up. FlyQuest, they're just playing with their food. You guys could end the game any minute now. You realize that, right? I mean, if you just hit that big crystal thing in the middle, it's usually how you end the game. Nope, they wanted 7 deaths. They wanted to kill Rosethorn yet again. Golden Guardians just demoralized right now. FlyQuest, this is cruel and unusual punishment, everybody, but FlyQuest will pick up the victory and end their week 3-1.
All right, FlyQuest, they have shown us one style very effectively, and that is Tomo on Aphelios, and so far it's picked them up all 3 of their wins throughout Academy, and we are, as we said, almost 40% of the way through the season. So the question becomes, can they do something else? What happens when Aphelios is banned? Do they have anything to fall back upon? But so far, who needs to answer tough questions when you can just pick up easy wins?
Right, exactly. If Aphelios is up, grab him and win the game. Tomo on this champion is absolutely insane, but honestly not the star performer of that game. I'm looking at Triple. This Victor was popping people left and right. It took a little bit to ramp up, but that's just the champion Victor. Once he got to those item power spikes, decimating that game. That quadra kill was a thing of beauty. He didn't even I don't even know how many assists there were there. I think it's like basically solo killed all 4. Well, Tally was 1v4 in as well, but unfortunately Tally could not do it. What a game.
Yeah, I want to praise Golden Guardians a little bit before we move on to the next game in the fact that they were able to play, or they were able to draft a composition that had rather wins. The problem was they didn't necessarily have anything after that. They weren't able to capitalize on it. They weren't really able to find a lot of these victories. So if they are able to clean that up and actually go for some of these more aggressive plays more quickly, they can actually win that game very handily. They got Tally ahead, but then after that, they stalled out and let the scaling composition just do its thing, and you can't do that.
I'm also just saying, quick free advice, Cubes, picking a weak side bot lane against Aphelios and let him free scale, not the best choice. Indexing heavily into Renekton when top lane counter pick is still available, maybe not the best choice either. But we'll see how Golden Guardians fares going further into the season. Congratulations, FlyQuest, looking like one of the stronger teams here in Academy. We're going to send you to a short break before we get ready for our player interview coming up next and further League of Legends games throughout the day, so don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we're getting prepared for our fourth game of the day. But before that, we have a special interview with the pop-off Oceanic mid laner himself, Triple. Quadra-kill in that last game, decimated his opponents on the victor pick. Triple, congratulations on the victory. That was a pretty impressive performance. And I want to highlight something because you're the only returning player here for FlyQuest Academy. You were on the roster last year, and I thought had a very good split in the summer. So what's it feel like to have kind of everything around you shaken up, but still have to show up and perform here on the Academy stage?
I just think it's a lot better this time around because like all the problems we had last year, I guess it's kind of like all sorted because for now we have a bunch of new guys and like I don't know, everyone's just playing a lot better as well. So yeah, I think this year's squad's just a lot better than last year, and hopefully it makes me look a bit better as well.
I mean, you touched on the fact that you have a bunch of new guys surrounding you. One of the players that we, over the course of his amateur career, has been NXI, who was part of the 100 Thieves Next graduating class. Everybody else has had a little bit more opportunity to play at the academy level or higher. So what has it been like to play with such a young guy coming into the competitive scene?
Well, there's like, with young people, there's obviously like a bit of babysitting. I know, Zen, you're probably gonna hate me for saying this, but yeah, it's like you guys obviously need to learn about the game, the competitive game. It's like a lot different to how you'd play in solo queue, so it's been a bit bumpy, but no one's been really giving him a hard time about it, and yeah, we're just kind of helping him out.
Awesome to hear. Well, yeah, take care of him, man. He's one of our NA player crown jewels.
One of
We
your
got a lot
boys.
of hopes. But speaking of NA players and the difference between some of the other players in Academy right now, you're one of the OG Oceanic players that came over last year. So what's it been like to see this kind of second wave of Oceanic players coming into North America? Are you a little threatened that there's more of you around now, or do you welcome the challenge to see some of your old rivals?
Honestly, the new guys, like, I didn't expect much from them, like no BM, but since like I used to beat these guys back in OS, but they've actually surprised me a lot, like with how much they've improved. So I don't know, it's exciting seeing them here, and yeah, it's good to see some old faces. Hopefully I still beat them though, right?
Yeah. So I have a question for you as well. Kangas said that FlyQuest was kind of looking to be the dark horse of Academy right now. How would you rank your team relative to the strength of the field?
It's a bit hard to say. I think like individually we're up there, like maybe top 3-ish. But our team play is like a bit shaky. Like even in scrims, we're just like we're getting ahead early and then just like running in and dying. So it's gonna take a bit, but I think by Proving Grounds we'll have it sorted.
All right, well, we'll see how things develop for FlyQuest going forward. Still 3-1 going into week number 3. Impressive performance to start off the split. Thanks so much, Triple, for coming in. Impressive also that you're able to do such a great performance with an unmade bed behind you, so congratulations on that. I could never function that way.
Thank you.
I need the room around me to be neat, but
you
thank you for
meant to
coming in
see that.
today. We're going to send it... We're going to send it to a short break while we get ready for TSM Academy versus 100 Thieves Academy up after this break.